So far we've looked at the government strategy for BIM Level 2, the original case studies and the work that was carried out to make sure that we had something that could be delivered, and we've also looked at the requirements for the global economy and some of those things that we have to try to affect as best we can. But the big question here is always from everybody is, what is BIM Level 2? How do we implement BIM Level 2 of the government strategy? So BIM Level 2, the package, is a set of key documents, online tools and templates to support the implementation of BIM Level 2, and these can be found on the BSI website at BIM Level 2. They consist of a number of different documents which collectively have to be delivered to enable you to reach BIM Level 2. So what are these documents? If we look at them individually, it looks like quite a number. But in fact, what we have, the underpinning one is BS 1192-207, which we saw in the earlier module was derived through the Avanti program, through the testing and the use of these on such projects as Heathrow Express, Terminal 5 and Crossrail. It is a code of practice. It's about a collaborative production of architectural engineering and construction information. It's about getting people to work better and better communication. Part of the problem with the documentation that's available through the BSI is that the standards in themselves tend to be quite slim and don't contain too much information. So there are usually guidance documents that go with this. The one for BS 1192, which is the foundation for all of the other documentation we have, they have a guide called BIP 2207, which is a guide to BS 1192. The core process within BS 1192-207 is the way in which we can collaborate and share information, and that is through a thing called the common data environment. It is made up of a number of functional states for work in progress, shared and published information, and an archive is kept, a record of every transaction that's made throughout the project so that we know exactly who made what decisions, when and where. Work in progress to shared is a way of allowing information to be made available as frequently and as often as we can, to be reused and used and reused by the other task teams in any given project. PAS 1192 Part 2 is actually the way in which we are going to procure information for the capital delivery phase of construction projects using BIM, or certainly BIM Level 2. Now this process is a publicly available specification. It builds on but does not replace BS 1192. It's a framework document for BIM Level 2. In other words, it specifies what all the other standards are that must be used. In itself, it is not a BIM standard. It's applicable to all sizes of projects and all types of procurement. We're not looking at any specific contractual activity. It should be agnostic in that sense. It's applicable to all sorts of and types of assets, which we have proven, and it is also technology agnostic in the delivery and testing of this. Just about all of the technologies, the CAD technology, shall we say, have been used. The main diagram in this document is this lifecycle document, which is made up of a number of items. The green element is BS 1192-207. The blue element from CapEx start to OpEx start is how we procure the teams to deliver information to us. This is an information strategy and the delivery of information into the CapEx activity under PAS 1192 Part 3, which is from the OpEx start to the CapEx portion of the diagram, a full life cycle activity. It also shows the task teams, the structure and roles and responsibilities for those teams. So not just how we procure them, but how we see them being set up and how they can interact and manage the programs much better. PAS 1192 Part 3 is the specification for information management during the operational phase, the in-use phase, which leans very heavily upon PAS 55, now withdrawn, and particularly ISO 55000. What we need here, and what this is asking us for, is what is the information we need to procure during BS 1192 Part 2? We need organisational information. Those requirements have to be set. Asset information requirements. What information do we need about the items that we're going to maintain? We need to know what the project information requirements are, usually called the plain language questions, which help us to produce the employer's information requirement. The employer's information requirement in itself is an extension of the employer's requirement with the added requirement, procurement activity of the information itself in a digital form. This will produce the project information model, which will be delivered back to the client's team to produce the asset information model. BS 1192 Part 4, COBE, is looking at the way in which we deliver that information to the teams, the simplest way in which we can structure the information and to deliver it in a digital form. That is laid out in this particular document. And it is based around a spreadsheet of which there are a number of tabs and templates, which shows what information needs to be delivered, when it needs to be delivered, and who is going to deliver it during the process. PAS 1192 Part 5 is a specification for the security-minded building information modelling for the digital built environment. Why is this necessary? We are getting a lot of problems here with cyber theft, so we need cyber security. We need, and we will be producing information around perhaps nuclear sites and things for centrally procured projects where the information is sensitive and needs to be secured in the right way. BS 8536 Part 1 is a briefing for design construction. This is a code of practice for facilities managers. It really comes out from a thing called the governance soft landings. This is looking at the briefing activity and also the delivery into aftercare, and certainly during that post-operational evaluation requirement are defined within this document. There is also a set of online toolkits. The first of these is the digital plan of work. There is also Uniclass, the classification system that will go with it, and we also have embedded in this the requirements for the levels of definition or the levels of detail that need to be delivered, along with the levels of information. These are defined by the client in the digital plan of work and the EIR. We also have the Building Information Model Protocol from the Construction Industry Council, which defines the contractual and legal obligations of both the client, the employer, and also the supply chain itself. This is defining how we need to assess our teams as well. It has a requirement around that on the assessment of the sort of teams that we're going to deliver. And some of these assessment tools are available through the CPI website under the PICS protocol or PICS Online. This is the BIM execution plan, the supplier's IT assessment forms, BIM assessment, what is your experience and knowledge in doing this stuff, and what sort of people do you actually have that are capable and competent to deliver the requirements of the documentation. There are also a number of other normative references under standards under BS ISO 12006, looking at classification, BIP 2207 we've already mentioned, ISO 55000, PAS 55 has been withdrawn, BS ISO 16739, which is the Industry Foundation Classes IFC, and indeed many others, which are cross-referenced now to some of the documentation and some that is worth looking at as a standalone activity. So this is what we must deliver, take all these things on board, implement them, manage the teams, and the major thing here is to manage the teams to deliver against these standards in a proven methodology that will actually deliver not only the reductions in cost and time, but also getting much better quality information to be used during the maintenance and in-use activity, the full life cycle. I hope this short introduction to the government, Her Majesty's Government requirements for BIM Level 2 has been of use. What we must do, and what we're trying to achieve, is to make sure that we are all speaking with the same language, we're all talking about the same things that we can all collaborate with. There is unfortunately a proliferation of other information, other standards and things on the internet which are not helpful to us in this activity. If anybody does require training and education, then there are courses being run by a number of agencies around the country. In particular at the BRE, there are a number of educational modules being available there, certainly for certification. Thank you very much for your time.